cold, he simply smiled and walked away. This isn't apathy. It's the essence of a Sigma male's kindness, quiet, precise, and intentional. In today's world, kindness is often packaged for display, broadcast online, polished for social credit, and sometimes used as a tool for influence. But the Sigma male operates outside that system. He doesn't need applause. His acts of kindness aren't performances, they're reflections of his inner alignment. Psychology tells us that intrinsic motivation, the drive to act because it aligns with personal values, is the most authentic form of behavior. Sigma males live by this principle. They're not kind because it's trendy or expected. They're kind because it's who they are beneath the armor. And make no mistake, they're armor. These men are often forged in solitude and shaped by life's harsher lessons, making their empathy even more powerful because it's filtered through strength, not softness. When a Sigma male extends compassion, it's not out of weakness or emotional obligation. It's a calculated decision, rooted in awareness and self-command. This makes their kindness unnerving to some. Why would someone who has nothing to gain still choose to give? That question alone unsettles people who rely on transactional relationships. But that's the beauty of it. Sigma kindness exposes a deeper truth. The most powerful acts come from those who don't need to be seen doing them. In this video, we'll unpack the 4 dimensions of Sigma kindness: the harsh terrain he walks, the compass he trusts, the unspoken way he connects, and the legacy he crafts in shadows. Because in a noisy world full of shallow gestures, a man who acts from silence and principle holds a kind of power that words can't touch. Let's begin. Point 1. Kindness rooted in integrity, not emotion. Sigma males don't extend kindness out of emotional impulse or a desire to be praised. They do it because it aligns with an internal code of honor, discipline, and principle. These men operate on a deeply rooted personal philosophy, one that's forged through introspection, solitude, and a life lived outside the conventional herd mentality. While many people are driven by how they feel in the moment, extending a helping hand when it's convenient or when it earns them social rewards, the Sigma male acts independently of those fluctuations. His compass doesn't swing with the tides of public approval or fleeting sentiment. When he sees someone in need, he doesn't ask himself, do I feel like helping? Instead, he instinctively responds based on what he knows to be right. This detachment from emotional triggers is not coldness, it's control. In fact, psychological studies show that individuals who consistently act on principle rather than impulse exhibit higher levels of emotional intelligence and moral reasoning. Sigma males demonstrate this quietly and often in the shadows. You won't see them broadcasting their good deeds on social media or fishing for gratitude. They don't need witnesses to validate their integrity. Their kindness is consistent, even in private, even when no one is watching, because it's not performance, it's character. He may help a stranger carry groceries without expecting a thank you, or support a friend in silence without announcing it to the world. He's the guy who fixes a problem and disappears before anyone even realizes he was there. It's not that Sigma males lack emotion, it's that they don't allow emotion to dictate their actions. Their strength lies in doing the right thing regardless of how they feel. This principled nature is why their kindness carries a quiet, profound power. It's dependable, it's grounded, and it's rare. In a world obsessed with appearances and validation, the Sigma male's silent, consistent kindness stands as a form of rebellion, a commitment to living with integrity in a noisy, performative world. He's not kind for applause. He's kind because his internal code demands it, and that makes all the difference. Point 2. Detachment creates pure intent. Most people extend help expecting something in return: recognition, affection, validation, or access to future favors. It's a form of social currency in a world that often runs on unspoken contracts. But the Sigma male doesn't play by those rules. His kindness is rooted not in obligation or strategy, but in detachment. That's what makes it so powerful and rare. He doesn't need anything from you. He's not helping to win your loyalty, secure your admiration, or collect emotional debt. His actions come from an internal compass, not external incentives. This is profoundly unusual because human beings are biologically wired for reciprocity. Evolutionary psychology explains that reciprocal altruism, helping others with the expectation they'll help you later, was a survival mechanism in early human tribes. We're hardwired to prefer those who repay favors and to shun those who don't. But the Sigma male steps outside this ancient loop. His self-sufficiency gives him the freedom to give without calculating the return. In a world where even friendships can sometimes feel transactional, this creates a different energy. It feels purer, untainted by ulterior motives. Think of it like this. If most people's help is like a loan, offered with invisible strings attached, then the Sigma's help is more like a gift, freely given and just as freely forgotten. He doesn't bring it up later, he doesn't wait for you to return the favor, and he certainly doesn't use it as leverage. This clean generosity often leaves people stunned because it's not performative. He's not posting it on social media or angling for praise. He helps, then fades back into the shadows, leaving others to wonder what just happened. That kind of selfless giving is so rare it almost feels sacred. And it's not because the Sigma is a saint, it's because he's free. Free from emotional dependency, social games, and the need to be seen. His kindness is quiet, unmarketed, and unbothered by whether or not you ever return it. Ironically, that very freedom makes his kindness unforgettable. Because in a world obsessed with give and take, the man who gives and walks away leaves a deeper mark than the one who stays and expects a thank you. Point 3, his silence is a kindness. Not every kindness wears a smile or speaks in comforting words. In fact, some of the most profound acts of compassion come quietly, without fanfare, without expectation. The Sigma male, often misunderstood as distant or aloof, practices a unique form of emotional intelligence rooted not in flashy gestures, but in intentional restraint. When he gives you space, it's not detachment, it's respect. In a world where most people cling, control, or demand attention, the Sigma male steps back, allowing you to breathe, think, and be. That in itself is a rare kind of grace. When chaos brews, he doesn't add fuel to the fire. He doesn't entertain petty drama, not because he's indifferent, but because he knows that peace is sacred. His refusal to escalate conflict is a conscious decision to preserve harmony. And then there's his loyalty, a quiet loyalty that often goes unnoticed. Even when betrayed, he may choose silence over revenge, not because he's weak, but because he understands that holding on to bitterness is a chain, and his freedom matters more than vengeance. Studies in social psychology have shown that emotionally intelligent individuals often exhibit higher levels of impulse control and empathy, and Sigma males tend to embody both. They don't seek applause for their patience or maturity, but their restraint can be more powerful than any outburst. In fact, neuroscience suggests that silence activates the brain's default mode network, the same system responsible for introspection and self-awareness, traits that Sigma males cultivate deeply. So when he chooses not to speak, it isn't avoidance, it's reflection, it's mercy. In a loud world, silence can feel like thunder. And his silence speaks volumes. It tells you he's considered every word he could say and decided that preserving peace, dignity, or your feelings was more important. That's not cowardice, that's strength under control. That's kindness without a label. That's the quiet code of the Sigma male. Discreet but deeply intentional, restrained but profoundly powerful. His kindness might not always come wrapped in compliments or dramatic gestures, but it's written in the space he respects, the peace he protects, and the chaos he chooses not to participate in. In the end, his silence doesn't leave a void. It leaves a message, one that only the wise will truly hear. Point 4. He sets boundaries with precision, not punishment. When the Sigma male walks away, it's not out of spite, revenge, or emotional immaturity. It's a deliberate act of protection. His silence is not a weapon, but a shield. In a world that often confuses detachment with hostility, the Sigma male operates on a deeper frequency. He doesn't disappear to cause pain, he steps back to prevent more of it. Psychology refers to this as conflict avoidance for emotional regulation, a technique emotionally intelligent individuals use to de-escalate potential turmoil. Unlike alpha males who may confront or dominate, or beta males who might comply to avoid tension, the Sigma male withdraws with surgical precision. His boundaries aren't impulsive reactions, they're the product of deep reflection and self-preservation. Every move he makes is calculated not to manipulate, but to maintain peace, dignity, and emotional integrity for both parties. In relationships, whether personal or professional, Sigma males sense when situations become toxic, when words start to wound rather than heal. And so, instead of letting things spiral, he quietly removes himself from the equation. His departure is not abandonment, it's emotional triage. He knows timing matters. He doesn't leave when it's convenient. He leaves when it's critical. And paradoxically, that kind of walking away is a form of love. It says, I care enough not to let this get worse. It takes emotional discipline and strength to recognize that staying might do more harm than good. His detachment is a high form of emotional intelligence, akin to the Japanese concept of the art of leaving space for clarity and balance. Where others might lash out, argue, or seek revenge, the Sigma male preserves silence, not because he's indifferent, but because he understands the weight of words and the danger of emotional fallout. So when he walks away, it's not a vanishing act, it's a conscious choice to preserve the best version of both himself and the other person. And ironically, in that retreat, there is more respect than any confrontation could offer. It's not drama, it's discipline, it's not passive aggression, it's profound self-awareness. In a world addicted to reaction, the Sigma's withdrawal is the rarest kind of strength, the courage to step back when it matters most. Point 5, he helps without owning your pain. Empathy doesn't mean absorbing someone else's suffering, and Sigma males understand this distinction with razor-sharp clarity. In a world that often confuses self-sacrifice with love, the Sigma male stands firm in a different kind of compassion, one that empowers rather than enables. When someone is drowning emotionally, the typical response might be to jump in with them, hoping to rescue them through shared pain. But the Sigma, he knows better. He doesn't throw himself into the chaos, instead he throws a rope. He listens with genuine attention, offers grounded wisdom, and takes action when it's truly necessary. But through it all, he maintains a strong sense of self. This isn't coldness, it's emotional intelligence. In psychological terms, this is the difference between empathy and codependency. Empathy involves understanding and sharing feelings, while codependency blurs boundaries, where helping others often leads to self-neglect. The Sigma male knows the importance of emotional boundaries and refuses to lose himself in someone else's storm. According to behavioral science, people with strong emotional boundaries are more effective in relationships. They support others without becoming emotionally exhausted. That's exactly what the Sigma does. He gives, but he doesn't crumble. He helps, but he doesn't vanish. This is kindness without codependence, and it's one of the rarest forms of strength. It requires a steady mind, a mature heart, and the discipline to know when to act and when to step back. The Sigma's form of compassion is rooted in clarity, not chaos. He understands that healing doesn't come from mirroring someone's pain, but from guiding them back to clarity without being pulled under. This makes him a powerful presence in any relationship. He becomes the anchor, not the life raft. People are drawn to this balance because deep down we all want someone who can care without collapsing, someone who can love without losing themselves, and that's the Sigma's gift, strength wrapped in stillness and compassion shaped by wisdom. He doesn't need to prove his kindness through martyrdom. His calm presence, steady support, and refusal to be consumed by others' turmoil are more than enough. It's a quiet power, but an undeniable one. Point 6, respect over flattery. He won't flatter you, won't sugarcoat the truth. But if he respects you, you'll know it, not through grand speeches or flowery compliments, but through his quiet integrity. He listens with intention, not just to reply, but to understand. His attention is undivided when you speak, not because he's trying to impress you, but because he values the exchange of truth. This kind of man doesn't need to put on a performance to prove he's kind. His kindness operates on a deeper, more refined level. In psychology, this trait aligns closely with emotional intelligence, specifically the ability to recognize and respect others' boundaries, emotions, and perspectives without manipulation or agenda. He won't parade your vulnerability around like a trophy or weaponize your flaws in moments of conflict. Instead, he guards your dignity even when you're not looking. He doesn't use your past against you or exploit your trust for gain. Studies in interpersonal ethics suggest that this restraint, the refusal to take advantage of someone's emotional openness, is one of the highest forms of moral behavior. His form of kindness is subtle but profound. While others might charm you with praise and empty promises, he offers something rarer, safety, the safety of being yourself without fear of judgment or betrayal. He may seem distant to those who seek validation through flattery, but to those who value truth, he is a fortress of respect. This is especially true among what psychologists refer to as secure attachment types, People who exhibit loyalty, consistency, and emotional maturity. They don't engage in people-pleasing or manipulation, yet they're the ones you can rely on when everything else falls apart. His kindness isn't loud, but it's lasting. It doesn't fade when times get tough or when you're no longer useful. It's not built on reward, it's built on principle. And in a world where superficial niceness is often mistaken for genuine goodness, this quiet, respectful strength stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. If you're lucky enough to earn the respect of such a man, understand what you've been given. Not flattery, but something far more enduring, a shield made of silence, loyalty, and the unwavering refusal to harm what he values. Point 7. He builds in silence so others can rest in his strength. A Sigma male doesn't move through life seeking applause, likes, or validation for the sacrifices he makes. His grind is often unseen, early mornings, late nights, and countless hours spent in silent self-discipline and skill mastery. You won't hear him bragging about his progress or posting every milestone. He's not in it for attention. He sharpens his mind, toughens his spirit, and trains his hands with the kind of relentless consistency that most people only summon in moments of desperation. But here's the catch. He does it all in the shadows. While others wait for permission to shine, a Sigma prepares in solitude. And when a crisis hits, when chaos rattles the world and everyone else is scrambling, he's already ready. Not loud, not flashy, just reliable, quiet, and present. That's the true essence of his strength. He becomes the anchor, the silent guardian who doesn't just survive the storm but helps others through it. Psychological studies show that high self-reliance and internal motivation, traits often associated with Sigma males, are linked to higher stress tolerance and effective problem solving. This makes them valuable in high-pressure situations where calm, logic, and preparedness are essential. He doesn't prepare to impress, he prepares to protect. He sees danger coming before it arrives. He studies patterns, sharpens instincts, and builds systems of resilience, not for applause, but because he knows someone might need him one day. And when that moment comes, you'll see the result of every unnoticed sacrifice. This man becomes the foundation when things fall apart. In a world obsessed with appearance, performance, and validation, the Sigma is a quiet anomaly. He's not chasing the spotlight. He's building the infrastructure that keeps the lights on when the world goes dark. So when you feel the calm in the middle of chaos, when someone steps in without hesitation and holds the line, it's probably him, the Sigma, the man no one noticed until everything depended on him, and that's exactly how he planned it. Point 8. He leaves people better than he found them. Whether it's a relationship, a stranger, or a friend in passing, a Sigma male leaves fingerprints of growth behind. He doesn't arrive with fanfare or grand gestures, nor does he seek to fix others as some sort of self-proclaimed savior. Yet his presence is quietly transformative. Psychologists refer to this as the Pygmalion effect, where high expectations lead to improved performance. Sigma males, often operating with high standards and deep introspection, naturally trigger this phenomenon. Their detached yet focused demeanor encourages others to reflect more deeply on their own choices, values, and direction. You'll find yourself standing a little taller, re-evaluating what matters and aspiring to be more, not because he told you to, but because his silent conviction exposed the areas of your life where you've been playing small. He doesn't waste time with idle talk. His life is his message. This is why even brief interactions with Sigma males can have lasting effects. They lead by example, live by principle, and don't chase validation. Social psychologists have observed how certain personality types, particularly introverted yet confident individuals, can influence group dynamics without dominating them. That's the Sigma. He won't linger to see the transformation he sparked. In fact, his nature compels him to move on, not out of indifference, but because his mission is internal, not external. His journey is not about being remembered. It's about leaving others better than he found them. So when he vanishes, without a word, without a mark, what remains is the invisible imprint of growth. You won't remember what he wore or even what he said, but you will remember how you felt after he left, clear-headed, challenged, awakened. And that's the true power of a Sigma male. He inspires evolution, not with force, but with presence. The Sigma male is often misunderstood, seen as distant or aloof, but beneath his quiet demeanor lies an extraordinary depth of kindness. What makes his kindness so powerful is that it's never transactional. He doesn't help to gain favor, seek praise, or manipulate others. Instead, his kindness flows from inner strength, emotional discipline, and deep self-awareness. Unlike performative gestures driven by ego or approval, his acts of goodness are calm, consistent, and sincere. It's the kind of kindness that doesn't demand a spotlight, yet leaves a lasting impact. In a world loud with virtue signaling, the Sigma's quiet compassion speaks volumes. Greetings, Sigmas. Most men are conditioned from a young age to chase validation, to pursue, to perform, and to impress. They study scripts on how to flirt, spend hours in front of mirrors perfecting their image, and mentally rehearse how to dominate a conversation. But the Sigma male? He's built differently. He doesn't seek attention, it. When a Sigma walks into a room, it's not about what he wears or says. It's the energy he carries. Calm, controlled, commanding. He doesn't raise his voice, yet people lean in. He doesn't chase approval, yet he commands respect. That paradox is precisely what drives women wild. Unlike the alpha who craves admiration or the beta who seeks comfort, the Sigma exudes a psychological intensity that's both mysterious and alluring. He's detached from the social hierarchy, not out of rebellion, but because he's found freedom in his own company. This independence becomes intoxicating to women who are used to being pursued. It flips the dynamic. Suddenly the one's trying to decode him. The obsession begins not with what he does, but with what he withholds. He's emotionally disciplined, and that self-mastery is what truly makes him unforgettable. Studies in behavioral psychology even support this. Women often show heightened interest in men who display ambiguity and unpredictability in romantic settings, triggering the brain's reward system much like a slot machine, uncertain yet addictive. In this video, we're diving deep into those 12 hidden psychological triggers that make Sigma males stay rent-free in a woman's mind. These aren't gimmicks or manipulation tactics, they're truths rooted in real-world psychology, evolutionary instincts, and emotional intelligence. So if you've ever wondered why some men are merely noticed while others are remembered, it's time to step into the shadows of the Sigma psyche. Welcome to Brain Boosters. What you're about to hear, you won't forget. Let's begin. Number 1, unbothered presence. He doesn't seek attention, he simply occupies space with quiet confidence. That very absence of striving becomes magnetic. In a world where people often clamor for validation through loud voices, flashy clothes, and curated images, his stillness is disruptive. This is the Sigma male's paradox. By not trying to be noticed, he's the one people notice most. Psychologically, this is rooted in what's called the law of reverse effort. The more we chase something, the more it eludes us. When a man exudes self-sufficiency and detachment from external approval, it signals high value. He's not posturing to be liked. He already likes himself. This causes a fascinating phenomenon. People, especially women, become intrigued not by what he reveals, but by what he withholds. Evolutionarily speaking, humans are wired to be curious about uncertainty and to value what is scarce. A man who's not constantly available or broadcasting his desires becomes a psychological puzzle, and puzzles are irresistible. Women are biologically and socially conditioned to notice status cues, confidence, mystery, emotional control, and the Sigma male checks these boxes without even trying. His independence speaks volumes louder than empty words. He doesn't hunt. He positions himself in such a way that he becomes the object of curiosity. She's drawn to what isn't trying to be caught because it reflects strength and control, qualities that signal protection, leadership, and a strong identity. Entertainingly enough, it's like a cinematic moment. The quiet man in the corner, unreadable yet composed, who unknowingly commands the energy of the entire room. That's no accident, it's a product of rare psychological calibration and emotional maturity. While others perform, he observes. While others chase, he builds. And in that stillness, he becomes the gravitational pull that others orbit around, especially the one who thought she could resist. Number 2, selective visibility. He appears and withdraws on his own terms. His availability is a rhythm she can't predict, and unpredictability breeds fixation. This isn't a game, it's the natural aura of a man who values his time, his space, and his peace. In psychology, this dynamic is closely tied to what's known as the intermittent reinforcement principle, a behavior pattern where rewards are given at unpredictable intervals. It's the same principle that keeps people glued to slot machines. The uncertainty of the next jackpot creates obsession. When a man, particularly one with sigma traits, doesn't constantly flood a woman with attention, but instead comes and goes with purpose and confidence, it sparks a deep psychological intrigue. Her brain releases dopamine, the pleasure chemical, not consistently but sporadically, making every interaction feel like a rare treasure. This unpredictability makes her think more about him, anticipate his next move, and emotionally invest in trying to understand him. But what makes it powerful isn't manipulation, it's authenticity. The Sigma male isn't trying to play hard to get. He's simply hard to get because he's immersed in his purpose. He doesn't need to be around all the time to feel secure or validated. His presence becomes an event, not background noise. In a world where people are constantly online and overly accessible, his elusive nature makes him magnetic. Women are biologically wired to be drawn to challenge, mystery, and strength. When a man disappears into his mission and reappears with confidence and calm, she doesn't see inconsistency, she sees value. This rhythm of presence and absence creates a powerful psychological loop that keeps her coming back, not because he's controlling her emotions, but because he's awakened something primal in her. Curiosity, wonder, and desire. It's not about playing with hearts, it's about living with depth. Number 3, against the grain. He refuses to perform the expected social script. While most people instinctively play along with the unwritten rules of social interaction, smiling when expected, complimenting to fit in, or exaggerating achievements to gain approval, he opts out. He doesn't posture for validation or adjust his character to match the room. This refusal is not arrogance, it's sovereignty. In a world trained to mimic in order to belong, he becomes an anomaly. Psychologically, this behavior aligns with what researchers call the tendency to be authentic rather than socially acceptable. While others scramble to showcase their best angles and curated personas, his quiet refusal to perform draws attention. It's not that he seeks it, it's that he doesn't. That lack of need is magnetic. In a sea of sameness, his detachment from competition sends a rare signal. It's the law of contrast at work. What's uncommon naturally demands attention. People can't figure him out, and that mystery triggers the brain's curiosity circuits. Neurologically speaking, curiosity activates the dopamine reward system, the same network that fuels desire. What begins as a subtle anomaly soon becomes a mental puzzle others feel compelled to solve. His indifference becomes a mirror, forcing others to confront their own performative behaviors. And here's the twist: he doesn't resist because he's shy or unsure. He resists because he's deeply aware. He understands the social game and simply chooses not to play by its default rules. That's what makes his presence unforgettable. He becomes the one person who stands out by standing still, the rare figure whose quiet autonomy disrupts the flow of mimicry. And once curiosity turns into obsession, people aren't just watching him, they're studying him, admiring him, even imitating him, trying to decode the very script he refuses to perform. Number 4, self-mastery over validation. He sources a value internally. She senses a man who doesn't need approval and immediately compares that to every needy alternative she's seen. This simple but powerful dynamic reveals a psychological truth that's both fascinating and deeply rooted in human behavior. When a man derives his sense of worth from within, rather than relying on validation from others, he emits a kind of quiet strength that is rare and magnetic. In psychology, this is known as internal locus of control, where one believes they have control over their own life and emotions. Most people operate from an external locus, constantly adjusting themselves to please others, seeking validation and fearing rejection. But the Sigma male doesn't play that game. He has no interest in molding himself into someone else's expectations. Instead, he operates from a deep core of self-assurance and purpose, and women notice. Instinctively, they recognize that this man isn't trying to impress her or anyone else. He's not performing, he's simply existing with confidence. That contrast is startling, especially in a world flooded with men who chase likes, attention, or affection like starving wolves. The Sigma's indifference to approval isn't arrogance. It's a reflection of maturity and emotional self-sufficiency. This trait doesn't just make him attractive, it makes him unforgettable. While others anxiously scan the room for validation, he's content being his own anchor. And that inner calmness, that refusal to beg for acknowledgement, sends a subconscious message: I am enough. Women can sense that on a primal level. They don't just see him as confident, they see him as rare. Because in a society where most people are desperately trying to be noticed, the one who doesn't need the spotlight often ends up becoming the most compelling figure in the room. That's the quiet power of a man who sources value from within. Number 5, solitude as strength. His silence isn't emptiness, it's a refueling of purpose. When a Sigma male goes quiet, it's not because he has nothing to say, it's because he's busy listening to the world, analyzing, recalibrating, and restoring his internal power. Unlike most men who seek validation through constant interaction or the need to be seen, the Sigma understands that growth often happens in solitude. This isn't brooding or passive withdrawal, it's intentional. Women in particular are drawn to this mysterious quiet not because it's loud, but because it invites curiosity. It's a magnetic paradox. The less he shares, the more others want to know. Psychology suggests that we are naturally drawn to what is uncertain or ambiguous, a concept known as the curiosity gap. The Sigma male lives in this gap. He doesn't offer easy answers or predictable reactions. His depth isn't performative, it's real, and that's rare. For women who are used to men putting on a show to impress, the Sigma's composed silence is a refreshing deviation from the norm. It speaks of self-sufficiency, control, and inner strength. Evolutionary psychology even supports this dynamic. Many studies show that women are subconsciously attracted to men who demonstrate independence and purpose, qualities historically linked with leadership and protection. But the Sigma isn't leading anyone, he's simply leading himself. That kind of self-mastery is intoxicating to observe. His silence is a signal that he's not desperate for approval, not seeking applause. He's already anchored in who he is. And in a noisy world full of oversharing and posturing, that kind of silence doesn't push people away, it pulls them in. It becomes an invitation to look closer, to wonder more, and to realize that behind that quiet exterior is a man of substance, strategy, and undeniable intrigue. Number 6, emotional economy. He doesn't scatter feelings, he invests them selectively, and that right there is what makes him so different. In a world where people hand out emotions like candy on Halloween, constantly oversharing, overcommitting, and over-explaining, this man is intentional. Every word, every glance, every act of vulnerability is measured. He knows that emotions, like currency, lose value when spent recklessly. Instead of exhausting his energy in shallow attachments, he pours it into meaningful, rare connections. This makes his attention feel like a treasure, not a transaction. Psychologically, this taps into something called the scarcity principle, a concept studied extensively in behavioral economics and social psychology. Humans tend to place higher value on things that are rare or difficult to attain. So when someone like him chooses to open up, when he lets you in, it doesn't just feel good, it feels profound, it feels earned. And that's not manipulation, that's authenticity. He's not cold, he's just calibrated. He guards his inner world, not because he's aloof, but because he's aware of how sacred it is. This level of emotional discipline is both intimidating and magnetic. People feel it. They lean in, not because he's loud, but because he's quiet with purpose. Unlike the emotionally chaotic who confuse intensity with intimacy, he brings stillness, focus, and depth to the table. And in doing so, he creates a powerful paradox. The less he gives away, the more people want to receive. That's the secret to his presence. His emotions aren't on public display, they are locked behind intentional choices. And when he finally offers a piece of his inner world, it hits different. It sticks, it matters. Because in his universe, affection is not a habit. It's a conscious, deliberate act of connection, and that makes all the difference. Number 7, calculated withdrawal. He disappears without drama, no arguments, no angry texts, no grand exit, just silence. And that silence isn't meant to punish her. It's a reset, a quiet return to self. This behavior is common among men who operate from a place of inner sovereignty, especially Sigma males. They're not emotionally detached, they're emotionally disciplined. When they sense imbalance or manipulation, they don't react with outbursts. They retreat. Psychologists call this the avoidant coping mechanism, where individuals withdraw to regulate their emotions and regain clarity. But here's the twist. In his absence, a vacuum is created, and human nature hates a vacuum. Her mind, craving closure or understanding, begins to replay moments, analyze texts, and question everything. This mental loop isn't random, it's neurological. The brain's default mode network, DMN, activates during rest, fueling introspection and memory recall. She starts to remember his calm demeanor, his unshakable energy, his rare ability to be fully present. The contrast becomes louder in his absence. It's not manipulation. It's the unintended consequence of presence followed by silence. In a world addicted to instant gratification and constant validation, his decision to walk away quietly feels louder than any confrontation. She realizes he doesn't chase because he never needed to. He values peace over performance, solitude over chaos, and clarity over confusion. His silence isn't cold, it's calibrated, and as she sits in the echo of his disappearance, she learns something. Real power doesn't need to prove itself. It simply exits and lets the void do the talking. This isn't a game, it's the natural rhythm of a man who knows his worth and refuses to stay where he isn't valued. Number 8, observation before action. He listens, processes, then moves. That's not just a behavior, it's a mindset that separates the Sigma male from the rest. In a world of instant gratification and constant noise, most men react. They interrupt, over-explain, or try to impress right away, afraid that silence might cost them attention. But the Sigma male operates on a different frequency. He knows that true power lies in observation, not performance. His silence isn't awkward, it's strategic. And when he listens, he's fully present. His eyes don't wander, he doesn't zone out. Instead, he's reading between the lines, catching the things people don't say as much as the things they do. Psychology backs this up. Active listening increases trust and emotional safety. For women, this kind of presence is rare. Most are used to men who rush to speak, flirt, or flatter, often inauthentically. But the Sigma male makes them feel not. And that distinction is powerful. When a man isn't trying to impress, a woman starts to wonder why. That mystery, combined with the quiet confidence of someone who's not seeking approval, triggers intrigue. According to studies in evolutionary psychology, unpredictability and emotional depth are powerful attractants because they hint at intelligence, self-mastery, and status, qualities linked to high-value mates. So when a Sigma male pauses before speaking, when he gives his attention without trying to capture hers, it signals something deeper, control. He's not just reacting to the moment, he's choosing his response. And that subtle discipline, that calm presence becomes magnetic. Women subconsciously chase the kind of rare attention that wasn't overly given. It's not game playing, it's authenticity wrapped in mystery. And that's what makes the Sigma male's energy so quietly powerful. He doesn't chase the moment, he lets the moment come to him. Number 9, boundary clarity. He doesn't tolerate manipulation, flattery, or emotional noise, not because he thinks he's better than anyone, but because his internal compass is firmly fixed on clarity, purpose, and self-respect. While others might get caught up in emotional drama or attention-seeking games, he remains grounded, silent, and observant. This isn't aloofness, it's emotional intelligence at work. Research published in the shows that individuals with high emotional intelligence are better at detecting deception and emotional manipulation, making it easier for them to spot fake intentions. Sigma males, known for their introspective habits and analytical minds, often excel in this area. Their calm, calculated responses are not reactions, they're decisions. In a culture addicted to overexposure and emotional chaos, his stillness becomes a form of quiet power. Like a lighthouse standing firm during a storm, he offers stability without shouting. People are drawn in by the silence, intrigued by the mystery, and captivated by the calm he never tries to flaunt. Number 10, purpose over people. His life is mission-driven, not someone-driven. Unlike many men who revolve around relationships for purpose, the Sigma male, or mission-oriented man, is guided by a higher calling, his goals, vision, or inner code. This focus is magnetic. Women can intuitively sense when a man isn't chasing validation, but instead is anchored in something bigger than romance. Evolutionary psychology explains this. Women are drawn to men who demonstrate competence, autonomy, and purpose because these traits signal strength and stability. Ironically, the more he focuses on his path and not on winning her, the more she desires to be included in his journey. Number 11, effortless competence. He sharpens his skills in silence, not for applause, but for mastery. While others boast about progress, he moves in the shadows, letting his work speak volumes. This quiet confidence is what sets him apart. Studies in psychology show that people often admire those who are competent yet humble, a phenomenon known as the quiet leader effect. His refusal to boast isn't modesty, it's strategy. When excellence reveals itself without announcement, it feels more authentic, more magnetic. People don't just respect him, they become captivated. In a world full of noise, his silent brilliance becomes impossible to ignore and utterly unforgettable. Number 12, inner peace as power. He's not restless. His calm isn't complacency, it's control. In a world driven by constant noise, his tranquility stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. This isn't the silence of passivity, but the discipline of emotional mastery. Studies in psychology show that people are naturally drawn to those who exude stability, especially during stressful times. His unshakable presence becomes magnetic, not through words or flashy gestures, but through the rare sense of safety he radiates. For her, this steady energy is like breathing fresh air in a smog-filled world. She may not know why, but she's compelled to come back. He doesn't try to be irresistible, he simply is, because he's detached from the things that weaken most men. Validation, drama, and constant attention. His strength doesn't come from having people or things, but from commanding the room with his calm, silent presence. Psychology calls this pre-selection, where scarcity creates value. His energy doesn't clamor for attention, it speaks in subtle tones, drawing people in like gravity. That quiet charisma lingers in the minds of others, especially her, who can't quite figure him out. The mystery isn't an act, it's the essence of someone who lives by his own code. Be unseen, be unforgettable. Sigmas, want to know how women instantly spot your mystique and silent power? Let's dive in. Have you ever wondered how women can sense that you're not like the rest, that you're cut from a different cloth, the rare Sigma mold? Well, it's not magic. It's subtle psychology at play. Today, we're unraveling the 8 secrets women use to identify Sigma males in just minutes. From your unshakable calm to your magnetic aura, let's decode the signals that set you apart from the crowd. First up, your self-assured silence. Studies show that people with a calm, steady presence are perceived as more confident. Women pick up on this. Your quiet confidence is louder than 1,000 boasts. Next, your piercing eye contact. A 2019 study from the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that direct, calm eye contact conveys dominance and trustworthiness. Women see your unwavering gaze and know you're not easily rattled. Then there's your detached independence. Unlike alphas, sigmas don't need to prove themselves. You're comfortable in your own skin, pursuing your goals without validation. This signals to women that you're on a unique journey. Your style also plays a role. You're not one to follow trends, but your carefully curated minimalist look speaks volumes. Studies in evolutionary psychology suggest that women notice when a man is authentic in his appearance. It suggests stability and focus. Finally, your subtle smile. Research shows that a slight, knowing smile signals self-confidence without arrogance. Sigmas, you're not here to impress. You're here to express. You walk your own path, live by your own code, and that makes you magnetic. Women pick up on it faster than you think. This video is your ultimate field guide to understanding how they see you and why. Let's unlock these secrets and own your Sigma edge. Let's start with secret number 1, Sigmas, your presence. Ever noticed how you don't need to fill the room with words? That calm, collected demeanor speaks louder than any boast. Women pick up on that stillness like a moth to a flame. It's not about being the loudest, it's about owning your space without saying a word. Here's why it's so magnetic. In a world that's always rushing, your stillness stands out. Studies in body language show that calm confidence, like standing tall, keeping your hands relaxed, and maintaining a steady gaze, signals strength and self-assurance. In fact, researchers have found that people who use fewer but more deliberate gestures are perceived as more competent and powerful. So, when you're at a gathering or even just walking down the street, your composed vibe creates an instant impression. Think of it like a lion chilling in the savannah. No need to roar, everyone already knows who's king. The lion's presence commands respect, not because of constant noise, but because of quiet, unshakable confidence. Similarly, when you walk into a room with that calm, self-possessed energy, people can't help but take notice. It's primal. It's instinctive. Here's the science behind it. Our brains are wired to pick up on these subtle cues. Psychologists say that people subconsciously notice nonverbal signals faster than anything else. When you radiate calm confidence, it triggers a sense of safety and stability in others. This is especially powerful for women who often look for men who seem grounded and unflappable. So, Sigmas, remember, your power isn't in your volume, it's in your vibe. Cultivate that calm energy and let it do the talking. Take a few deep breaths before entering a room, maintain open body language, and resist the urge to over-explain or fill awkward silences. Your steady presence will do more to attract people than any fancy line or boastful speech. The takeaway? Don't chase validation by being the loudest or most talkative. Instead, lean into that serene strength. Let your calmness be your calling card. That's what sets you apart as a Sigma male, someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard. You simply let your quiet power do the talking. Next up, it's all in the eyes. While most men are busy scanning the room, your gaze is like an X-ray. It's steady, focused, and almost magnetic, as if you're reading the world one soul at a time. Women notice this immediately. It's not about staring awkwardly, it's about truly seeing, connecting, and understanding the energy in front of you. Imagine a movie detective like Sherlock Holmes who's already pieced together the puzzle. He's not darting his eyes around, distracted by every little movement. Instead, he's watching quietly, collecting details with purpose. This is exactly the kind of presence Sigma males bring: calm, controlled, and powerful. Psychologists call this a steady gaze, a sign of confidence and emotional stability. When you lock eyes with someone, you're showing that you're fully present. It triggers a primal response in the brain, making you more memorable and intriguing. It's not about being a creep, it's about communicating your authenticity and strength without saying a word. But here's the catch. There's a fine line between a steady gaze and a blank stare. Don't let your eyes become cold or lifeless. Let them express the curiosity and passion inside you. Women are drawn to men who are genuinely interested in the world, not men who simply look without truly seeing. In social psychology, researchers have found that maintaining eye contact for about 3 to 4 seconds at a time creates the perfect balance. It's enough to communicate power and interest, but not so much that it feels intense or intimidating. In this way, your eyes become your most powerful tool, a window into your depth. So, Sigmas, embrace your gaze. Don't be afraid to let your eyes reveal the layers beneath your calm exterior. Let them show the world that you're a man of quiet confidence and unshakable curiosity. Let them see the strength within you, a strength that doesn't need to be loud or flashy, but simply present and unwavering. Remember, in a world where everyone's attention is scattered, a steady gaze is like a lighthouse. It cuts through the fog, guiding others to your unique presence. Secret number 3, and this one's a biggie: independence. Independence is the very core of the Sigma identity. Unlike others who seek validation from the masses, Sigmas are defined by their refusal to conform. They don't need the applause of a crowd or the endorsement of trends. Instead, they draw their strength from self-reliance, forging paths that others might hesitate to tread. Let's look at the science behind this trait. Research in psychology shows that individuals with high levels of independence often have stronger self-esteem and are less influenced by social comparison. They focus on intrinsic motivation, doing things because they find them personally meaningful, not because they're seeking external approval. This is a game changer. It allows Sigmas to act from a place of authenticity, making their choices not because it's popular, but because it aligns with their values. Think of independence like a cat who decided to skip the catnip party because he's got a personal quest to solve. He's not there to chase fleeting pleasures or to blend in with the group. He's got bigger fish to fry, or perhaps bigger mysteries to unravel. In this sense, Sigmas operate like that cat. They're not distracted by every passing trend or party invite. They're focused, deliberate, and unafraid to walk alone if it means staying true to themselves. But let's be clear, independence isn't about being aloof or detached. It's about knowing your worth. Sigmas understand that their time, energy, and values are precious, and they refuse to settle for anything that doesn't resonate with who they are. This is where independence becomes a superpower. It shields them from manipulation and shallow trends, giving them the freedom to chart their own course. In a world that constantly pressures us to conform, the Sigma's independence is a breath of fresh air. It's a quiet confidence, a refusal to let others dictate their path. Sigmas don't just walk away from the crowd, they walk towards their purpose. So embrace your independence, Sigmas. Stand firm, stay true, and remember, your worth isn't defined by others. It's defined by your choices, your passions, and the path you carve for yourself. Here's a fun one, secret number 4, mystery. Sigmas, you don't spill your life story to everyone. You're an open book with a few pages missing, and that's exactly what women notice. It keeps them guessing and wanting to know more. Think about it. Mystery has been a timeless charm throughout history. From James Bond's enigmatic persona to the stoic cowboys in classic westerns, the mysterious man has always been irresistible. Even psychological studies back this up. When someone withholds just enough information, it triggers the Zeigarnik effect. Named after psychologist Bloomer Zeigarnik, this phenomenon shows that people remember incomplete stories better than complete ones. So when you don't reveal everything at once, you're essentially turning your life into a thrilling, incomplete story that others can't stop thinking about. It's like that Netflix show that ends every episode on a cliffhanger. Everyone wants to watch the next one, no matter how late it is. Sigmas naturally embody this style of living, choosing what to share and what to leave out. You're selective with your words and actions. You're not hiding who you are. You're simply not broadcasting everything to everyone. And that keeps the spark alive in conversations, relationships, and even professional interactions. Mystery is also tied to confidence. When you don't feel the need to overshare, it shows that you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not driven by a need for validation. Instead, you're focused on living your life purposefully and letting others discover the layers of your personality at their own pace. Remember, Sigmas, mystery is your ally. Don't reveal everything at once. Let them earn the right to see your world. This doesn't mean being deceptive. It means embracing the subtle art of selective sharing. Show glimpses of your dreams, your passions, and your values. But keep a few pages tucked away. It makes the journey of getting to know you that much more exciting. So keep them on their toes. Let your life be that thrilling Netflix show they can't stop watching. Because with a little mystery, you're not just a man. They'll see you as an enigma, a puzzle worth solving. Secret 5, Sigmas. You're calm in the chaos. Picture this. The world's spinning out of control like a hurricane. People are panicking left and right. But there you are, the eye of the storm. Unshaken, unrattled. This calm isn't just a random quirk, it's a magnetic force. In psychological studies, researchers have found that emotional composure is linked to higher levels of resilience and better decision-making. When you stay calm under pressure, you're literally activating parts of your brain responsible for clear thinking and problem-solving. The prefrontal cortex. It's like flipping a switch from panic to precision. Women find this trait irresistible because it radiates confidence, maturity, and inner strength. When others crumble under stress, your calm demeanor speaks volumes. It says, "I've got this." Think of it as an unspoken promise of stability and protection. In a world where drama is the norm, your tranquility is like a lighthouse cutting through the fog. You're like the guy at a party who doesn't freak out when someone spills red wine all over the white couch. Instead of joining the chaos, you're the one calmly handing them a towel, making a joke, and carrying on like nothing happened. That's not just attractive, it's a sign of leadership. But here's the kicker, this calm isn't something you're just born with, it's cultivated. It's rooted in self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and years of experience. You've learned to control your reactions, to stay focused when the world wants to distract you. That's why it feels so powerful, because it's earned. So, Sigmas, never underestimate the power of your calm. In the wild ride of life, it's your superpower. It doesn't just keep you steady, it draws others in. Women see it and feel secure, knowing that you're the kind of man who won't crack under pressure. This calm doesn't make you cold. It makes you the anchor in the storm, the silent strength that others can lean on. It's a rare quality and it's what sets you apart. So stay rooted, stay unshaken, because when you're steady, the world sees a leader and women see a protector. Let's talk about your voice. Secret number 6 in the Sigma male playbook is all about tone. You see, Sigmas have a way of speaking that sets them apart from the crowd. Their voices are calm, low, and steady, resonating with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be loud or forceful to be heard. Think of a mountain stream. Its water is clear and sure, flowing with purpose. That's how your words should move. Measured, intentional, and captivating. Unlike those who try to dominate conversations with volume or drama, the Sigma male's voice is a powerful tool of presence and persuasion. Research has shown that lower-pitched voices are often perceived as more competent and trustworthy. In fact, a study from the University of Glasgow found that men with lower-pitched voices were seen as more dominant and attractive. This doesn't mean you have to fake a deep voice. It's about slowing down, breathing deeply, and allowing your natural resonance to emerge. Imagine you're the narrator in a nature documentary. Everyone leans in when you speak. Your tone draws people in, making them feel like they're part of something bigger. You're not in a rush to fill every silence. You let your words land like footsteps in a quiet forest, each one deliberate and clear. But here's the real secret. It's not just about how your voice sounds, but how authentic it feels. Sigma males own their voices because they own themselves. When you speak from a place of strength and authenticity, people can feel it. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're simply expressing your truth. That kind of honesty has magnetic power. So Sigmas, embrace your tone. Practice speaking from the diaphragm rather than your throat. This simple technique will give your voice more depth and power. Avoid filler words like or like. They dilute your message. And remember, you don't need to shout to be heard. When you speak calmly and with purpose, people naturally tune in. Let your words carry the weight of your character. In a world of noise and chatter, the calm, steady voice of a Sigma male is like a lighthouse in the fog, guiding, reassuring, and unforgettable. Own it, and you'll find your tone becomes your most powerful tool. Secret 7: Self-sufficiency. This is one of the defining traits that sets Sigma males apart from the crowd. Think of self-sufficiency as your personal power source, an internal engine that keeps you moving forward no matter what's happening around you. It's about building a life that runs on your own terms, not needing anyone else's validation or approval to feel whole or successful. Psychologists and sociologists alike recognize self-sufficiency as a key factor in emotional intelligence and resilience. When you rely on yourself to meet your emotional, financial, and social needs, you're less likely to be thrown off course by setbacks or drama. You become that rock, steady, dependable, and calmly confident. This stability is magnetic. It draws people in, including women who intuitively sense when a man is grounded and independent. Imagine this: you're at a construction site and you're the guy with a full toolbox. Wrenches, screwdrivers, drills, and measuring tapes, ready for any challenge. Meanwhile, everyone else is just borrowing a hammer from someone else, hoping it'll do the trick. That's the power of self-sufficiency. You've prepared yourself so well that you're not scrambling when life throws a wrench your way. Instead, you adapt and fix things with ease. Research shows that self-sufficiency correlates strongly with higher self-esteem and life satisfaction. People who cultivate this trait tend to be better at managing stress and are more optimistic about their futures. They aren't dependent on external factors to dictate their mood or success. They create their own momentum. For Sigma males, this means you don't just wait for opportunities, you build them. You set clear goals and pursue your passions with relentless focus. You don't need a crowd cheering you on because your inner drive fuels your hustle. And that silent independence speaks volumes, sometimes louder than words. Women notice this. It's not about arrogance or being closed off. It's about being secure in who you are. That quiet confidence, that ability to stand alone and thrive, that's incredibly attractive. So, Sigmas, never underestimate the power of self-sufficiency. Build your life your way. Equip yourself with the skills, mindset, and resilience to be your own foundation. Let your independence be the language that others can't help but respect. Finally, Secret 8: the silent charisma. Sigma males don't rely on flashy clothes or expensive cars to stand out. Instead, their quiet confidence and authentic energy create a magnetic presence that draws people in naturally. Studies show that genuine confidence signals emotional stability and trustworthiness, traits that are highly attractive. Women often notice this subtle vibe more than loud displays of wealth or status. Think of the guy at the campfire who barely speaks, but somehow holds everyone's attention. His calm aura invites connection without effort. Sigmas embrace your silent charisma. It's the powerful, invisible force that captivates and keeps women intrigued. Sigmas, these 8 secrets aren't about playing games or trying to be someone you're not. They're about embracing the man you already are. Women can sense authenticity. They feel it in your presence, your eyes, your silence, and your calm confidence. So take these insights as fuel. Continue walking your path, not for their approval, but for your own growth and fulfillment. Remember, you're not here to be recognized by everyone. You're here to be remembered by those who matter. Sigmas, if this video lit a fire in you, like and subscribe to join our growing community. Let's keep pushing each other to new heights, one silent stride at a time. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a conversation that's as deep as your presence. Stay true and stay Sigma. Imagine a man who drifts through the noise of the world, yet never lets it weigh him down. Picture a soul so self-contained that even silence becomes a symphony. This man is the Sigma male, a figure of quiet strength and resolute independence. But what makes the Sigma male unshakable? Why does no one dare to tame his spirit? It's because he doesn't just walk a different path. He forges it from scratch. Unlike the alpha who leads and the beta who follows, the Sigma male operates entirely outside the traditional social hierarchies. He writes his own rules, governed not by others, but by his inner compass. Psychologists refer to this archetype as the lone wolf, and for good reason. Sigma males find fulfillment in solitude because it gives them room to reflect and grow. Studies show that spending time alone can actually boost creativity and enhance problem-solving skills. For the Sigma, this solitude isn't a burden, it's a crucible where his ideas are forged into reality. This life of quiet self-mastery isn't about escapism, it's a declaration of self-sovereignty. Sigma males are highly self-reliant, thriving on personal responsibility and inner discipline. They see life as an adventure of the mind, always seeking knowledge and truth rather than external validation. In a world obsessed with clicks and comparisons, the Sigma male remains steadfast. He isn't afraid to stand apart or to question the status quo. This independence fuels his authenticity, allowing him to engage with others without losing his sense of self. So when the noise of the world threatens to drown you out, consider the Sigma way. Be unshakable, forge your own path. Let even silence become a symphony of your making. Number 1, self-reliance as a core principle. Sigma males are the epitome of self-sufficiency. They don't wait for rescue, they become their own heroes. This unwavering independence fortifies them against external pressures, and it's not just a matter of mindset. It's backed by real psychological principles. Let's break it down. In psychology, there's a concept called, this term describes people who believe they can shape their own destiny through their actions. Sigma males embody this idea fully. They believe that regardless of outside circumstances, economic fluctuations, social hierarchies, or cultural expectations, they have the power to determine their path. This is a fundamental trait of self-sufficient people. Now, how do they do this in practice? Sigma males don't rely on external validation to boost their confidence. They know that true strength lies within. While the world might be clamoring for likes, followers, and constant applause, Sigma males understand that these external rewards are fleeting. They focus instead on their skills, values, and personal mission. This mindset echoes the philosophy of Stoicism, where self-mastery and inner discipline are prized above all. Their independence also extends to how they approach problems. When faced with challenges, Sigma males see them as opportunities for growth. They don't crumble under pressure because they've conditioned themselves to find solutions rather than excuses. This proactive attitude is what sets them apart from those who wait for a hero to arrive. In fact, studies show that individuals who take ownership of their challenges are more likely to experience success and fulfillment in life. Another reason Sigma males stand strong is because they're selective about their influences. They're not easily swayed by trends or popular opinions. Instead, they cultivate a discerning mindset, choosing mentors and role models based on substance, not hype. This shields them from the noise of the crowd and gives them clarity in their decision-making. Let's not forget the practical side. Sigma males are adept at acquiring new skills and knowledge. Whether it's mastering a new craft or staying ahead in their career, they're constantly evolving. This thirst for knowledge ensures they're always equipped to handle life's surprises. So next time you hear about a Sigma male, remember, he's not just an independent thinker. He's someone who's learned to harness his own power, trust his own instincts, and stand tall no matter what life throws his way. Number 2, emotional mastery. While others may be swayed by emotions, Sigma males maintain emotional equilibrium. They understand their feelings but aren't governed by them, allowing for rational decision-making even in chaos. Let's break this down. Emotional equilibrium means having the ability to remain calm and composed, no matter the situation. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding and managing them. Sigma males possess this trait naturally. Rather than letting anger cloud their judgment or joy lead them astray, they see emotions as valuable data points, signals from the mind and heart that inform decisions, not control them. Why is this so powerful? In high-pressure situations, most people react impulsively. Their minds race, their hearts pound, and adrenaline floods their systems. This often leads to rash decisions like shouting back at a boss or panicking in a crisis. Sigma males, however, can pause, assess, and act with precision. Think of them like skilled chess players, always analyzing the board and making moves with clarity. Science backs this up. Research in emotional intelligence shows that those with higher emotional regulation can manage stress more effectively and perform better under pressure. This isn't magic. It's about activating the brain's prefrontal cortex, which governs rational thinking, and minimizing the grip of the amygdala, which is linked to emotional reactivity. Sigma males have mastered this neurological balance. Consider this in real life. Picture a firefighter who calmly coordinates a rescue while others freeze in fear, or a negotiator who remains steady during tense business deals. Sigma males bring this same calm to everyday challenges, whether it's dealing with family drama, office politics, or personal setbacks. They know that emotions are temporary, but decisions have lasting impact. Entertainment-wise, imagine an action hero in a blockbuster film like Jason Bourne or James Bond, cool-headed, assessing risks and executing plans with laser focus. That's the Sigma male's energy in real life, minus the explosions. So why does this matter? Because in a world of constant noise and reactive behavior, the Sigma male's emotional equilibrium is a rare and powerful skill. It allows them to navigate life with confidence, adapt to challenges, and inspire others to find their own calm in the storm. Number 3, purpose-driven living. Every action taken by a Sigma male aligns with a deeper purpose. This clarity of intent acts as a compass, guiding them through life's tumultuous waters without losing direction. Imagine a ship navigating through a stormy sea. While most vessels are tossed around, unsure of their course, the Sigma male's inner compass remains steadfast, pointing true north. This unwavering sense of purpose isn't just an abstract concept, it's rooted in self-awareness and conscious decision-making. Unlike the alpha, who often leads through dominance, or the beta, who seeks validation, the Sigma operates on his own terms. He doesn't move with the crowd or follow trends blindly. Instead, his actions stem from an internal code, a set of values and goals that are unique to him. Studies in psychology suggest that individuals who possess a strong sense of purpose tend to be more resilient in the face of challenges. This trait is seen in Sigma males who approach life as a mission, each choice an intentional step towards something meaningful. For example, when a Sigma male decides to pursue a new career path, it's not just about the paycheck. It's about aligning his skills and passions with a cause that matters to him. He might take risks that seem foolish to others, but they're calculated moves driven by his personal vision. This is why Sigma males are often seen as enigmatic and mysterious. They don't reveal their entire playbook, yet every move they make has been carefully considered. In relationships, this clarity of intent translates to authenticity. Sigma males aren't interested in superficial connections. They seek relationships that resonate with their core values. This makes them both magnetic and intimidating, as they refuse to settle for anything less than genuine. Entertainment comes in observing how Sigma males handle setbacks. While others might crumble under pressure, the Sigma male uses adversity as a learning opportunity. He doesn't see failure as a dead end, but as a redirection towards a more aligned path. This perspective echoes the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, continuous improvement. It's a practical example of how a Sigma's purpose-driven mindset shapes his response to life's inevitable challenges. In a world that often pushes for conformity, Sigma males remind us of the power of intention and the strength found in self-direction. Their ability to act with precision and purpose is a testament to the transformative potential of clarity in an uncertain world. Number 4, disinterest in social hierarchies. Sigma males operate outside traditional social structures. They neither seek dominance nor submission, choosing instead to define their own place in the world. This makes them stand out from the typical alpha and beta archetypes. While alphas often strive for leadership and recognition and betas tend to follow, Sigmas carve out their own unique path, guided by self-determined values and personal freedom. Think of Sigma males as lone wolves, independent thinkers who thrive on autonomy. They don't need validation from others or conform to societal standards. Instead, they prioritize their inner calling and live by their own code of ethics. This independence isn't about being antisocial, it's about making conscious choices that align with their true self. Research in social psychology supports the idea of Sigma males being comfortable with solitude. Studies on introversion and self-reliance reveal that such men often excel in creative pursuits, problem-solving, and leadership roles that require innovative thinking rather than traditional hierarchies. This doesn't mean Sigma males shy away from social interactions. They simply don't let those interactions define them. Another fascinating aspect of Sigma males is their adaptability. In the animal kingdom, lone wolves are flexible and resourceful, able to navigate various environments without depending on a pack. Likewise, Sigma males adjust to different social contexts without losing their core identity. They're natural observers, keenly aware of social dynamics, yet unbound by them. Their quiet confidence often intrigues people. Unlike alphas who assert dominance, Sigma males project a calm, self-assured demeanor. This presence can be magnetic, as it signals security and mystery. You might find them in careers that offer freedom, entrepreneurship, creative arts, or remote work, where they can operate independently and stay true to their own vision. Despite their detachment from social structures, Sigma males value meaningful connections. They form deep bonds with those who resonate with their values, favoring quality over quantity in relationships. This selective approach to connection ensures their authenticity shines through. In essence, Sigma males remind us that leadership and influence don't always require the spotlight. Sometimes the most impactful individuals are those who quietly forge their own path, inspiring others through example, not authority. Whether you identify as a Sigma male or simply appreciate this mindset, it's a powerful lesson in self-mastery and staying true to who you are. Number 5, selective social interactions. Quality over quantity defines their relationships. This mindset isn't just a catchy phrase, it's rooted in the idea that depth is more fulfilling than breadth. When you prioritize quality, you're essentially investing in relationships that nourish your soul and align with your values. Think of it this way: having 5 deep, soulful connections can be far more rewarding than 100 shallow acquaintances. This philosophy is actually supported by psychological research. Studies show that meaningful relationships are linked to greater happiness, lower stress levels, and even longer life expectancy. In contrast, trying to maintain too many superficial connections can actually drain your energy and reduce your emotional well-being. This is why people who embrace the quality over quantity principle are selective. They understand that every interaction requires energy. Time spent on people who don't contribute to your growth or joy is time wasted. These individuals often have a small but tight-knit circle of friends and loved ones. They prefer to go deep, sharing thoughts, dreams, and vulnerabilities rather than engaging in shallow small talk. Let's make this relatable. Picture someone at a crowded party. Most people are chatting about the weather or the latest celebrity scandal. But there's that one person who's having a heart-to-heart conversation in the corner about life goals, fears, and ambitions. That's the power of quality connections. These conversations uplift, inspire, and connect on a deeper level. Even ancient philosophers understood this. Aristotle spoke of friendships of virtue, relationships based on mutual respect and shared values, as the highest form of friendship. Modern psychology echoes this, emphasizing that authentic connections are more satisfying and emotionally enriching. In today's world, with social media bombarding us with endless connections, it's easy to fall into the trap of accumulating followers or friends without real bonds. But the truth is, real connections take time, trust, and effort. They're built on shared experiences and honesty, and they're worth every bit of energy you put in because they provide support, meaning, and joy. So remember, quality over quantity isn't just about trimming your social circle, it's about investing in the kind of connections that make your life richer, your days brighter, and your heart fuller. Number 6, influence without authority. Their impact isn't derived from titles or positions, but from authenticity and competence. People are drawn to them not because they command, but because they inspire. This dynamic is rooted in social psychology. Studies show that individuals who lead with authenticity and demonstrate genuine competence are often seen as more trustworthy and charismatic. These leaders don't rely on formal authority or job titles to influence others. Instead, they cultivate relationships built on respect and empathy. Authenticity is the foundation of their influence. When you're authentic, you're consistent in your values, words, and actions. Research by Harvard Business Review highlights that authenticity in leaders increases employee satisfaction and trust. People can sense when someone is truly aligned with their beliefs versus when they're faking it. Competence then seals the deal. It's about demonstrating the skills and knowledge to back up your words. Competence is about doing what you say you'll do and doing it well. This dual combination of authenticity and competence creates a gravitational pull. It's like the magnetism of historical figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, who had no formal title but inspired millions. Or consider sports legends like Michael Jordan. While he had the title of player, it was his undeniable work ethic and skill that earned him respect. Interestingly, social influence doesn't always need grand gestures. A kind word, a supportive gesture, or simply being a consistent example of integrity has profound ripple effects. You don't have to shout to be heard. Your authenticity and competence speak volumes in silence. This is what sets these individuals apart from the crowd. They don't have to demand attention. They naturally attract it. So when you wonder why people gravitate towards someone, look deeper. It's often not the flashy title, but the quiet, powerful combination of authenticity and competence that creates a lasting legacy. Number 7. Lifelong learning. Sigma males are often described as independent and self-reliant, but one of their defining traits is their relentless curiosity. Unlike many who settle into comfort zones, Sigma males are perpetual students of life. This means they never stop learning, growing, and evolving. At the core, Sigma males possess a natural thirst for knowledge. It's not about collecting facts just to impress others or gain social status, but about genuinely understanding the world around them. This deep curiosity pushes them to explore new ideas, philosophies, skills, and experiences. Whether it's diving into books on psychology, mastering a new language, or experimenting with different ways of thinking, Sigma males are always on a path of self-improvement. Psychological research supports this trait. Studies show that people with high levels of intrinsic motivation, meaning they learn for the sheer joy of learning, tend to develop greater creativity, resilience, and adaptability. Sigma males exemplify this mindset. Instead of relying on external validation, their motivation comes from within, which fuels continuous growth. This mindset also makes Sigma males excellent problem solvers. Because they are open to new information and adaptable, they can approach challenges from multiple angles. They don't get stuck in rigid patterns, but are flexible enough to revise their beliefs and strategies as they gain new insights. This adaptability is crucial in an ever-changing world where the ability to learn quickly can mean the difference between success and failure. Moreover, Sigma males tend to learn from life experiences, not just textbooks. They observe people carefully, reflect deeply on situations, and use lessons from failures and successes alike to refine their understanding. This experiential learning is what often sets them apart from others who may rely solely on conventional education. In essence, the Sigma male's curiosity is a lifelong engine driving personal evolution. It's this commitment to learning and growth that shapes their unique approach to life, quiet, confident, and always moving forward. Number 8, resilience through adaptability. Change is not a threat, but an opportunity. This perspective is a powerful mindset that separates those who thrive from those who merely survive. When we view change as an opportunity, we open ourselves up to growth, learning, and new possibilities. Neuroscience shows that the brain is incredibly adaptable, a phenomenon called neuroplasticity. This means our minds can rewire and grow stronger through new experiences and challenges, proving that change can literally help us evolve. People with a flexible mindset don't resist uncertainty or fear the unknown. Instead, they approach change with curiosity and resilience. They understand that setbacks or unexpected events are not dead ends, but stepping stones toward greater success. This mindset builds emotional strength, reducing stress and anxiety, because it shifts focus from what is lost to what can be gained. In fact, studies in psychology emphasize that flexibility correlates with better problem-solving skills and higher creativity. By embracing change as a chance to innovate and adapt, individuals become more resourceful and confident. So next time change comes knocking, don't shut the door. Welcome it with open arms, because it's inviting you to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable than ever before. Sigma males are unbreakable, not because they are invulnerable, but because they have built a life anchored in authenticity, purpose, and resilience. Their strength lies in their unwavering commitment to their principles and their ability to navigate life on their own terms. Sigmas, if this resonates with you, join our community by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Embrace the Sigma qualities to lead a life of impact and authenticity. Stay true and stay Sigma. Why do Sigma males trigger people so much, even without saying a single word? The truth might surprise you. What's up, Sigmas? Welcome back to the channel that unpacks the psychology of men who move in silence, but shake entire rooms. Let's talk about that weird tension you feel when you enter a room. You haven't done anything, you haven't even spoken. Yet eyes shift, some people go cold. Others try to compete with you without understanding why. Here's the deal. Sigma males challenge the social blueprint. In a world driven by hierarchy, approval, and conformity, Sigma males break the mold, and that is unsettling. Fact. According to social psychology, humans are wired to read non-verbal cues. When you're silent, composed, and unaffected by social pressure, people don't know how to categorize you. That unknown? It breeds discomfort. People expect loud dominance or submissive friendliness. You give them neither. Instead, you radiate controlled confidence, minimal need for validation, and a calm detachment that reads like mystery, and that mystery is power. Some mistake your quiet as arrogance. Others project their insecurities onto your independence. The truth, you're just not playing their game. And that triggers something primal, because when you don't need them, they start wondering why they ever needed anyone's approval in the first place. So don't shrink. Stay silent, stay grounded, and let your presence do what it always does: disrupt, expose, and inspire. Let's get deeper. Ready for the 8 reasons you trigger people without a word? Let's go. Reason 1, Sigmas. Break the social script, and that makes people uncomfortable. You know the drill. Society loves its labels. Alpha males are the leaders. Beta males are the followers. Everyone's supposed to find a rank and fall in line. But Sigma males, they step off the chart entirely. They're not just breaking the mold, they're ignoring it altogether. Sigmas operate outside the social hierarchy. They don't seek validation, approval, or the limelight. While the alphas are flexing status and the betas are seeking it, Sigmas are quietly walking a different path, one built on autonomy, purpose, and deep self-awareness. And this terrifies people. Why? Because a Sigma male's mere existence is disruptive. He challenges societal programming. Most people are taught to conform, to belong to groups, follow trends, and find their identity in external labels. Sigmas do none of that. They are self-defining, self-sufficient, and self-directed. That level of independence exposes the fragility in other people's sense of identity. Psychologically, this taps into a phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. The discomfort we feel when we're confronted with a reality that contradicts our beliefs or behavior. When people see a Sigma succeeding without playing the game, it threatens their worldview. It makes them question their own life choices, and that's deeply unsettling. So instead of adapting, many respond with judgment, criticism, or even hostility. This is the essence of why Sigmas are often misunderstood or even disliked. They're not trying to be rebels, they just are. They're not trying to challenge the system, they just live outside of it. But their very presence shines a light on the artificiality of the roles most people feel stuck in. From a sociological perspective, sigmas represent the archetype of the lone wolf, a figure celebrated in mythology and literature but often marginalized in reality. They're the Sherlock Holmes, the Batman, the John Wick. Powerful, solitary, mysterious. And let's face it, the world doesn't know what to do with people it can't control or categorize. So yes, sigmas get hated, not because they're wrong, but because they're rare, and rarity makes people nervous. Reason 2. Sigmas are self-sufficient, which makes others feel dependent and weak. Think about it. Sigmas don't ask for help. They don't crave validation. They handle their business solo. While most people are wired to seek community and affirmation, Sigma males are wired a little differently. They're not antisocial. They're selectively social. They don't reject connection, but they certainly don't depend on it to define their worth. In psychology, this self-contained mindset aligns with the concept of internal locus of control, the belief that you control your destiny through your own actions, not external forces or other people. Studies have shown that individuals with a strong internal locus of control tend to be more resilient, motivated, and less prone to anxiety or peer pressure. Now contrast that with the average person constantly refreshing their feed for likes, checking their phone to see if they've been validated by the outside world. That's the difference. Sigmas validate themselves. When someone encounters a sigma who's walking tall without applause, thriving without cheerleaders, and progressing without guidance, it can trigger deep insecurities. Why? Because the sigma becomes a mirror, reflecting back what others might lack: independence, clarity, and confidence. It's uncomfortable to be reminded of your own dependency. And instead of taking that discomfort as motivation to grow, some people take the easier path: resentment. They don't hate the sigma because he's arrogant. They hate him because he's proof that you don't need to follow the herd to succeed. Here's the educational truth. Self-sufficiency is often misinterpreted as arrogance because it breaks social norms. In a world built on tribes, networks, and approval loops, someone who operates beyond that structure can seem like a threat. But in reality, they're just self-actualizing. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, becoming the most you can be, is the highest level of psychological development. That's where the sigma operates. And not everyone's ready to confront that truth. Bottom line, self-sufficiency is intimidating to those who rely on others for identity. But for the sigma, it's just another day being unapologetically themselves. Reason 3, sigmas speak their truth, brutally honest, often unapologetically. Here's a truth bomb for you. Sigma males don't sugarcoat. They're blunt, direct, and sometimes their honesty stings like a bee on a hot summer day. Unlike most people who prefer softening the truth or dancing around uncomfortable topics, sigmas cut straight to the chase. They say what they mean and mean what they say. Why is this so fascinating? Because in everyday social settings, people tend to avoid confrontation. Gossip, half-truths, and politeness often take center stage. This helps maintain social harmony and keeps egos intact. But the sigma male? He's a different breed. His form of transparency doesn't just ruffle feathers, it shakes the whole tree. Psychologically, this honesty can trigger discomfort in others because it shines a spotlight on their own insecurities or self-deceptions. When someone hears an unfiltered truth from a sigma, it's like looking into a mirror that reflects all their flaws and pretenses. This mirror isn't flattering, and that can be hard to swallow. It's no surprise that people often respond defensively, sometimes with jealousy, anger, or silent contempt. Research in social psychology shows that humans have a natural tendency called cognitive dissonance, which is the mental discomfort experienced when confronted with information that contradicts their beliefs or self-image. Sigmas, by being unapologetically truthful, often trigger this dissonance. People prefer comforting lies over harsh truths. So when a sigma exposes reality, it challenges their internal narrative. But there's a reason why sigmas embrace this role. Their blunt honesty is a form of integrity. They value authenticity above popularity or acceptance. They believe that growth and real connection happen when the truth is out in the open, even if it's uncomfortable. This is a powerful trait because it fosters genuine relationships and self-awareness. Of course, being brutally honest can come with social costs. It can isolate sigmas or make them seem intimidating. But their strength lies in standing firm despite this resistance. The Sigma male understands that truth isn't always popular, but it's always necessary. So next time you encounter a Sigma who calls it like they see it, remember they're not trying to hurt you, they're holding up a mirror to help you see yourself clearly. And that kind of clarity, though tough to face, is a rare and valuable gift. Reason 4. Sigmas are mysterious, and humans fear what they don't understand. The quiet Sigma male, the man who doesn't overshare, doesn't crave the spotlight, and keeps his cards close to his chest, becomes something of an enigma in social settings. This isn't just a personality quirk, it taps into a deep psychological truth about human nature. Humans are wired to feel uneasy around what they don't understand. Psychologists call this ambiguity aversion. When faced with someone mysterious or unpredictable, our brains get a little anxious because we lack the information we need to predict their behavior. The Sigma male's silence and reserved nature only amplify this effect. People naturally want to decode him, to tear apart the mystery, because mystery challenges their need for certainty and control. But here's the fascinating part. This very mystery is a source of incredible power. Historically, people who don't reveal everything about themselves immediately often command more respect and attention. Think of leaders, thinkers, and visionaries who are known not just for what they say, but for the aura of intrigue they carry. The quiet confidence of the Sigma creates a magnetic presence that draws others in, a force field of intrigue and respect. Moreover, in social dynamics, attention is a limited resource. By not chasing attention, the Sigma male paradoxically attracts it, because his restraint signals independence and self-control, qualities that many admire but few truly possess. So Sigmas embrace the enigma. Your silence isn't a void, it's a canvas on which others paint their curiosity. Let them wonder. After all, when you don't give away all your cards, you keep the power in the game. It drives people crazy, and that's exactly the point. Reason 5. Sigmas don't follow the crowd, they blaze their own trails. You've heard it before, don't be a sheep. This simple phrase captures a powerful truth about Sigma males who live by this principle every single day. Unlike those who follow the crowd, Sigmas refuse to jump on fleeting trends or seek validation by doing what everyone else is doing. Their independence runs deep, and it shapes how they navigate life. Psychologically, this behavior ties into the Sigma's strong internal locus of control. They believe they are responsible for their own success and happiness, rather than relying on external approval. This mindset naturally leads them to stand apart, sometimes quite literally standing alone in a world that often values conformity. This independence can be intimidating to others. When people see someone confidently marching to the beat of their own drum, it highlights their own complacency or fear of standing out. It's human nature to feel uneasy when confronted with someone who defies social norms, and that discomfort can translate into sideways glances or even outright dislike. From a social perspective, the Sigma's solitary path challenges the herd mentality. Studies in social psychology show that humans have an innate tendency to conform, known as the Ash conformity experiments demonstrate how powerful peer pressure can be. Sigmas, however, resist this pressure. They prioritize authenticity over acceptance, which can lead to both admiration and alienation. So yes, the Sigma who lives on their own terms can expect to be misunderstood or even disliked by some. But it's precisely this refusal to blend in that makes them stand out, and that's their greatest strength. They are not sheep, they are wolves moving quietly but confidently through the crowd, changing the game by simply being themselves. Reason 6. Sigmas don't need external validation, and that threatens ego-driven people. In today's world, where social media dominates so much of our lives, the constant chase for likes, followers, and validation can feel overwhelming. Everyone seems obsessed with crafting the perfect image online, seeking approval from others as a measure of their self-worth. But Sigma males stand apart from this frenzy. They simply don't care about external validation or social proof. Unlike many who post every detail of their lives online, Sigmas derive their confidence from within. Their self-esteem isn't dependent on the number of likes or comments they receive. Instead, they cultivate a strong inner foundation, a sense of identity and purpose that remains steady regardless of outside opinions. This independence is rooted in psychological concepts like intrinsic motivation, where one's drive comes from personal values and goals, rather than external rewards. This refusal to seek approval can drive others crazy, especially those whose egos thrive on admiration and control. When someone craves admiration, they feel powerful by influencing how others perceive them. But when a Sigma male refuses to play the game, it disrupts that dynamic. The ego-driven individuals feel powerless and often respond with resentment or jealousy. Interestingly, this dynamic reflects broader social psychology findings about group behavior and dominance. People often react negatively when their expected social hierarchies are challenged or when they lose control over social narratives. In short, Sigma's disregard for social validation is not just a personality trait, but a form of quiet rebellion against societal pressures to conform. Their confidence, drawn from within, highlights a profound lesson. True power doesn't come from others' approval, but from knowing and accepting yourself. And that ultimately unsettles those who rely on external validation to feel important. Reason 7. Sigmas radiate calm confidence, a silent power that intimidates. You know the type, calm, cool, collected, completely unshaken by drama or chaos. This kind of calm confidence isn't just about staying quiet or passive, it's a magnetic energy that naturally pulls people in. Psychologically, humans are drawn to calmness because it signals stability and control, qualities we instinctively seek in others. Sigma males embody this quiet power. They don't feel the need to compete for attention or validate themselves through loud displays. Instead, they command respect simply by being themselves, grounded, self-assured, and unbothered by external noise. This silent dominance creates a presence in any room without saying a word. But here's the twist. This magnetic calm can make some people uneasy, especially those who are insecure or used to controlling social dynamics. When a Sigma male steps into a space with effortless confidence, it can unintentionally expose others' vulnerabilities or insecurities. That's why some might react with discomfort or even hostility. This rare form of power, rooted in inner peace and self-mastery, disrupts the usual social drama and competition. It's why Sigma males often stand apart, respected from a distance, admired by many but sometimes misunderstood or even envied by others. Reason 8. Sigmas are not easily controlled, and that's a nightmare for control freaks. The world is full of people who want to control others, whether bosses, partners, friends, or society itself. Control is a form of influence that shapes how people think, act, or behave, often to fit someone else's agenda or expectations. But Sigma males stand apart because they resist control at all costs. Unlike others who may conform to societal pressures, Sigmas value independence above all else. Think of Sigmas like water flowing around rocks in a stream, always moving, adapting, and finding their own path. This fluidity makes them impossible to trap or force into submission. They don't follow the crowd or bend to fit into predefined roles. Instead, they carve out their own unique place in the world by relying on self-reliance, introspection, and quiet confidence. This fierce independence can unsettle those who want to mold others into their vision of how people should be. Because Sigmas refuse to be puppets, they often get labeled as bad guys or rebels. But in reality, they're just people who choose freedom over control and authenticity over conformity. Their resistance isn't about causing trouble, it's about staying true to themselves, no matter the cost. This is why Sigmas often inspire others, even if misunderstood along the way. So, Sigmas, here's a little truth bomb for you. If people can't stand you, it often means you're hitting on something real. Why? Because by living your authentic life, breaking molds, shaking up comfort zones, and shining bright with your independence and calm confidence, you naturally challenge the status quo. It's human nature to resist change or anything that threatens their comfort bubble. That resistance? It's a sign you're powerful. The Sigma male lifestyle is about refusing to conform just to please others. Instead, it's about carving your own path with purpose and strength. Psychologists note that individuals who exhibit strong self-reliance and independence tend to inspire others, but also provoke envy or discomfort because they represent freedom many secretly desire but fear. So how do you flip this into your advantage? Own your difference. Celebrate that you don't fit into the usual boxes. That's your unique edge. Don't chase approval. Your worth comes from within, not from likes or followers. Be honest but kind. Integrity always commands respect. Keep a little mystery. Not everyone needs to know your whole story, and this fuels your magnetic aura. Stay calm amid chaos. Your peace is your power. And finally, protect your freedom fiercely. Never let anyone clip your wings. Remember, being Sigma is about authentic strength and self-mastery. The discomfort you cause in others, it's a sign you're on the right track. Stay true and keep shining your quiet, powerful light. Why is it that some men are always on the outside looking in, and yet they don't seem to mind? Because they're not trying to get in. While society often obsesses over alpha males, the dominant leaders, and beta males, the agreeable followers, there's a third archetype that breaks the mold entirely, the Sigma male. These men don't reject the hierarchy because they want to be rebels. They ignore it because it simply doesn't apply to them. Sigma males are lone wolves by choice. Psychologists have noted that such individuals often score high in traits like self-reliance, introspection, and non-conformity. They're not antisocial, but selectively social. They can thrive in groups, but they just don't need them to validate their worth. Unlike alphas who lead the pack, Sigma males lead themselves. They prioritize purpose over popularity, values over validation, and solitude over superficial social climbing. And that's precisely why they never seem desperate to fit in. They've discovered that peace is found not in acceptance from others, but in alignment with themselves. In a world addicted to approval, Sigma males are refreshing anomalies. They don't chase trends, they don't beg for attention, and they don't compromise who they are just to be part of the crowd. Their mysterious, independent nature might make them outsiders, but it also makes them intriguing, resilient, and ultimately unforgettable. So if you've ever felt like you were walking your own path, disconnected from the herd, it might not be a flaw. It might be your Sigma nature calling. And that, my friend, is a strength. Reason one, they don't crave validation. Let's get one thing straight. Sigma males do not need applause to validate their existence. While everyone else is doing things for the gram, Sigmas are doing things for growth. They don't need 300 likes to feel alive. They don't need group approval to act. They trust their own judgment, and that makes them a rare breed. This isn't just a catchy line, it's backed by psychology. According to self-determination theory, true motivation stems from autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Sigma males exemplify autonomy. They don't perform for the crowd, they act from internal convictions. While others crave external validation, Sigmas are fueled by self-validation, an inner compass that doesn't waver. When you stop seeking validation, you break society's most unspoken rule, conformity. Society wants you to play a role, dress the part, speak the script, and never question the rules. But Sigmas don't just break the rules, they walk off the stage entirely. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They engage when it's meaningful, not because it's expected. Why is this so powerful? Because validation-seeking behavior is linked to anxiety, low self-esteem, and burnout. Studies show that people who constantly look for approval tend to experience more emotional instability. Sigmas, on the other hand, often exhibit higher levels of self-reliance and mental clarity. They understand that self-worth isn't a popularity contest. It's something you build quietly, day by day, through discipline, reflection, and action. And here's the twist. When you stop chasing validation, people start noticing you more. Ironically, detachment from approval becomes magnetism. That's why Sigma males often seem so compelling. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're just becoming the best version of themselves. So the next time someone questions why you're not following the herd, remember, you're not lost. You're just walking a path only the self-assured dare to take. Reason two, they're deep thinkers in a shallow world. Let's face it, modern culture thrives on small talk. Whether it's celebrity drama, the latest viral trends, or debates over who wore it better, society is hooked on surface-level chatter. But Sigma males, they tune it out. While others scroll through gossip, Sigmas are neck-deep in books, breaking down philosophies, decoding systems, and applying knowledge in ways most people wouldn't even consider. Sigma males are the intellectual rebels of the social hierarchy. They're not trying to be edgy or different just for the sake of it. They're built to think critically. Research from the Journal of Individual Differences highlights that individuals with introverted and independent personality traits, which Sigmas often embody, are more likely to exhibit high levels of cognitive curiosity and deep analytical thinking. They aren't satisfied with, "that's just how it is." They want to know why it is, how it got that way, and what happens if you challenge it. This relentless questioning often isolates them. In a world that celebrates fitting in, Sigma males disrupt the narrative. They walk into a shallow pool and start asking deep questions, like why the water's shallow to begin with, and the result? Confused stares, uncomfortable silences, social exclusion. But here's the twist: Sigma males don't mind. They would rather walk alone with integrity than blend in wearing a mask. Being misunderstood is a small price to pay for being real. This isn't arrogance, it's authenticity. It's not that they're too cool for small talk, it's that their minds are too wired for substance to stay stuck in it. And that's what makes them powerful. In a society obsessed with image, Sigmas pursue insight. While others follow trends, they follow truth. And in doing so, they forge their own path, one that doesn't require approval to feel valid. Because at the end of the day, Sigma males know one thing: it's better to be underestimated than to be uninspired. Reason 3. They operate outside the social hierarchy. Most people are busy climbing ladders, career ladders, social ladders, hierarchies of power and prestige. But Sigma males, they dismantle the entire structure. They don't seek validation through status. They're not playing chess to become king. They've already left the board. While the world argues about who's alpha, beta, or gamma, the Sigma male is quietly building his own kingdom, often in literal solitude. Think Thoreau at Walden Pond, or Keanu Reeves quietly dominating Hollywood without craving the spotlight. Sigmas don't care where they rank because they never subscribe to the ranking system to begin with. This mindset is what makes them so unpredictable. In a society wired around conformity and control, the Sigma's refusal to play by the rules disrupts expectations. Psychology tells us that humans crave categorization. It helps us feel secure. So when someone refuses to be defined, that unknown becomes intimidating. Studies in behavioral psychology even suggest that unpredictable individuals can trigger discomfort in group settings because they're harder to influence or manipulate. Sigmas steer clear of drama ego contests and power games, not because they're weak, but because they see through the illusion. Power gained through dominance is fleeting. Influence gained through integrity is lasting. They're mission-focused, not attention-hungry. This singularity of purpose makes them efficient and often highly successful, though you'll rarely see them bragging about it, and that's why they don't fit in. Not because they're flawed, but because they're free. Free from social games, free from peer pressure, and free from needing the world's approval. Society might see that as a threat, but Sigmas see it as clarity. They've never needed the ladder because they've always had wings. Reason 4. They value solitude over noise. Crowds, overrated. Parties, maybe if the moon's in retrograde and the playlist doesn't suck. Sigma males thrive in solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because that's where they recharge, refocus, and reconnect with themselves. Unlike extroverts who draw energy from social interaction, Sigma males are what psychologists classify as introverted individuals with high autonomy. They're not afraid of being alone with their thoughts. In fact, they seek it. In today's hyper-connected world, silence has become rare and even feared. Most people drown themselves in distractions, endless scrolling, background noise, constant notifications. But Sigma males lean into the quiet. Why? Because silence sharpens their focus. It's in these quiet spaces that ideas are born, goals are refined, and resilience is cultivated. Solitude isn't loneliness. This is a key distinction. Loneliness is a craving for connection. Solitude is a conscious choice to be alone for self-growth. Studies show that individuals who spend regular time in solitude have increased creativity, better emotional regulation, and stronger decision-making skills. That's Sigma energy in action. And no, they don't ghost people. They simply understand that their time and energy are sacred. If they disappear, it's not drama. It's maintenance. A Sigma male knows that peace is more valuable than popularity, and mental clarity beats constant chatter. When you're alone and content, you develop a mental edge. You're less influenced by social norms, trends, or the need for validation. That makes you unpredictable. And in a world obsessed with conformity, unpredictability is power. So if you've ever turned down a night out just to sit under the stars with a good book or journal your thoughts in silence, congratulations, you're walking the Sigma path. You've already outgrown the crowd. You're building something deeper, something most people can't see but will one day feel, because a man who finds strength in solitude doesn't follow the noise, he becomes the signal. Reason 5, they speak with purpose, not for attention. Ever notice how some people talk just to hear themselves speak? That's not the Sigma way. When a Sigma male talks, it's intentional, measured, strategic. Unlike others who may be motivated by the need for attention or validation, a Sigma speaks with purpose. Every word is carefully chosen. They're not about noise, they're about signal. The distinction is subtle but powerful. They're the quiet force in the room, not the loudest voice. This measured approach often catches people off guard, and that's precisely what makes it so effective. In a world where everyone seems to be trying to fill the air with words, a Sigma's silence can be a game changer. It commands attention without demanding it. It's an invitation to listen more closely, to pay attention to what's truly being said. When a Sigma enters a conversation, it's not to dominate or control. They don't need to. They're there to offer something real, something valuable. Whether it's a nugget of wisdom, a sharp observation, or simply a unique perspective, a Sigma male's words are meant to leave an impact. The people around them may be used to surface-level chatter, but the Sigma's insights hit differently. They resonate. This kind of quiet confidence often makes others uneasy. In a culture of over-explainers and self-promoters, the Sigma's reserved nature feels like a power move. And for them, it is. Because it's not about filling the space with endless talking. It's about taking control of the conversation by saying just enough. Their words land with weight because they've earned the right to be heard. In a sea of noise, the Sigma remains a signal, a beacon of clarity and purpose. Reason 6, they prioritize freedom over comfort. Security is nice, but freedom? Freedom is everything. Sigma males possess an inherent desire for independence that drives their every decision. They would rather face the risk of failure chasing their own path than succeed by following the traditional routes that society lays out for them. This mindset explains why so many Sigmas take the leap into entrepreneurship, leaving stable jobs to start their own businesses. They value the autonomy of calling their own shots far more than the comfort of a predictable paycheck. These individuals are not averse to success, far from it, but they have a fundamental aversion to being trapped in a system, bound by the expectations of others. They don't conform to conventional norms because they know that true success that resonates deeply with the soul, requires carving out one's unique space in the world. Society often rewards those who are willing to follow orders, stick to established systems, and stay in the confines of the cage. However, Sigmas are allergic to those cages, those structures that limit personal expression and freedom. This rejection of societal norms is not rooted in rebellion for the sake of rebellion, but in the belief that freedom is the ultimate form of success. Sigmas understand that real growth occurs when you take ownership of your journey, risk failure on your terms, and redefine what success looks like. This is why you'll often see them turning down promotions or leaving jobs with potential for growth, if it means sacrificing their independence in the process. For Sigmas, it's not about following the herd or climbing a corporate ladder. It's about choosing to forge their own path. In a world that often pushes people to follow a prescribed set of rules, Sigmas reject conformity and redraw the map of what is possible. They understand that their path may not always be easy or conventional, but it's theirs, and that's where true fulfillment lies. Reason 7, they challenge the status quo. Ever met someone who just doesn't seem to follow the script? That's a Sigma male. Instead of adhering to societal norms or conforming to the status quo, they break away from the pack and forge their own path. They're the ones questioning why we still hold on to outdated traditions, why we measure success with money, titles, and external validation, and why we place more value on appearing rich than on being wealthy in mind, spirit, and heart. Sigma males see the world through a different lens. They recognize that the societal matrix is built on artificial constructs, rules that often don't align with their values or personal truths. Once they see through the facade, there's no going back. It's like seeing the strings on a puppet show. You can never unsee the illusion. When a Sigma enters a system that doesn't make sense, they don't simply accept it. They don't go along with the crowd or pretend everything is fine. They challenge it. They ask questions that others are afraid to ask. They don't hesitate to break it down, deconstruct it, and rebuild it on their own terms. And if the system refuses to evolve, they simply walk away. This ability to question the norm and reshape the world according to their values makes the Sigma male the ultimate disruptor. They don't follow trends, they create them. They don't fit in because they're too busy standing out and changing the game. For a Sigma, the world is a canvas, and they're not afraid to paint outside the lines. This mindset doesn't just make them unique, it empowers them to lead by example, showing others that true freedom lies in questioning, reinventing, and stepping away from the conventional. So next time you encounter someone who defies the system, who doesn't conform, and who's constantly rewriting the rules, there's a good chance you've met a Sigma male. Reason 8, they're comfortable being the lone wolf. Let's face it, fitting in can sometimes feel like a lonely pursuit. But here's the thing, being alone doesn't mean you're lost. For Sigma males, solitude is a conscious decision. They know that it's in those quiet moments of self-reflection and independence that true strength and clarity are found. While society often pressures people to find their tribe and belong to a group, Sigma males take a different approach. They don't surround themselves with people just to fill an emotional gap or fit in with the crowd. For them, it's more empowering to have no circle than to engage in fake friendships. They trust themselves, trust their own judgment, decisions, and path in life. It's all about embracing their independence, which gives them the freedom to grow on their own terms. You see, when you're walking your own path, there may not always be a cheering crowd behind you. But that's okay. Sigma males understand that the journey is not about applause, admiration, or external validation. The journey is about something much deeper, finding and fulfilling a personal purpose. This deep sense of self-reliance is what truly sets Sigma males apart from others. It's not about isolation for the sake of isolation. It's about choosing solitude to hear their own thoughts, make their own decisions, and ultimately live a life that is aligned with their values. Their solitude is not emptiness. It's a wellspring of growth and clarity. They know who they are and are not afraid to walk alone if it means staying true to themselves. Ultimately, Sigma males don't need a tribe because they are the tribe. So Sigmas, let's be clear, not fitting in is not a flaw, it's a feature. It's a sign that you're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out. These 8 reasons are more than traits. They're philosophies, they're choices. They're proof that being different isn't just okay, it's powerful. You're not broken because you see the world differently. You're awake, you're intentional, you're dangerous to a world built on blind obedience, and that makes you unstoppable. So if any of this resonated with you, if you've ever felt out of place but right on purpose, you're not alone, you're a Sigma. Hey Sigmas, if this video spoke to that wild, independent soul of yours, go ahead and smash that like button. Hit subscribe and join the community of thinkers, creators, and lone wolves rewriting the rules. Live deliberately, think independently, walk fearlessly, and as always, stay true and stay Sigma. Welcome, Sigmas. The world rarely understands the quiet ones, the ones who carry storms in their chest, but walk like the wind never touched them. Most Sigma males don't realize their strength because it's not loud, it's legendary. You've been mislabeled your whole life, too intense, too deep, too silent. But let's set the record straight. You're not too much. You're exactly what this broken world needs. You weren't built to blend in. You were forged to stand apart. While others seek validation, you seek truth. Where most follow noise, you follow clarity, and while many crack under pressure, you become a fortress, unshaken, unbent. You're not cold, you just don't fake warmth. You're not distant, you've simply mastered solitude. You're not emotionless, you feel everything, but you control it like a master of inner warfare. You see, your silence isn't empty, it's sacred. Your presence doesn't scream, it shifts atmospheres. You walk into rooms and energies realign, not because you try, but because your very being demands it. This isn't flattery, this is your truth. You're not here by accident, you're not surviving, you're shielding the sacred. You're not just a Sigma male. You're a guardian of light cloaked in human skin. So today isn't just a video, it's a reckoning, a call to remember what you are and rise. Because legends don't ask for permission. They awaken and they lead. Let's begin. Number 1, you were born outside the herd, and that's not a coincidence. Sigmas, let's get one thing clear. The moment you realized you didn't vibe with the crowd was the moment you activated your spiritual GPS. While others were chasing popularity, likes, and the next viral trend, you were chasing something deeper: authenticity, wisdom, purpose. This wasn't just a random personality quirk. It was a sign of spiritual awareness. Psychologists call this the highest level in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where a person seeks meaning beyond material success. While the world begged for attention, you disappeared into self-discovery. You unplugged from the noise and went inward, asking the uncomfortable questions most people avoid. That wasn't rebellion, that was revelation. You weren't rejecting society out of arrogance. You were responding to an internal call to rise above superficiality. Like angels, you weren't designed to blend in. You were designed to observe, to protect, to influence from a distance. It's no coincidence that many Sigma males function as quiet leaders, not through dominance, but through presence. In mythology and spiritual traditions, angels are often unseen forces of order and insight. Sound familiar? That deep discomfort you feel in chaotic, fake environments? That's not just introversion, it's your internal radar picking up spiritual interference, chaos, gossip, pretense. They all clash with your frequency. It's your soul telling you this isn't your home. Humans follow rules. Angels operate by divine design. Sigmas don't just follow systems, they their own. Whether it's careers, relationships, or daily routines, you prefer paths that align with your core values, not popular demand. In a world where conformity is currency, being different is divine. Your spiritual GPS is real. It's that inner voice that guides you away from the crowd and toward your calling. Trust it, follow it, because the very thing that makes you feel like an outsider is the thing that makes you powerful. Number 2, your solitude isn't loneliness. It's sacred assignment. Let's face it, everyone's busy chasing clout and company. Social media feeds are packed with people flexing their highlight reels, chasing validation like it's oxygen. But you, Sigma, you're cut from a different cloth. You chase clarity, not crowds. While others scramble to be seen, you're content being still. You'd rather spend a Friday night with your thoughts, a book, or a strategic plan than in a noisy room full of surface-level conversations and fake smiles. And guess what? That's not strange. It's strategic. That's warrior training. Throughout history, the greatest minds and souls embraced solitude. Nikola Tesla, one of the most brilliant inventors of all time, often credited his quiet time alone for his revolutionary ideas. Jesus went into the wilderness to fast and pray. Even Buddha found enlightenment under a tree, not at a party. Isolation isn't a curse, it's a calling. Angels don't chill in crowds. They go where they're needed, move in silence, and act with purpose. They don't seek applause, they follow the assignment. And Sigma males, you're wired the same way. That need for alone time isn't antisocial behavior. It's your soul downloading instructions. Solitude is your sacred ground where clarity replaces confusion and where your internal compass sharpens without distractions. In a world that rewards noise, your silence is power. Your refusal to conform is strength. The modern world may misunderstand your distance, but that's only because it can't comprehend your depth. Preparation happens in the shadows. Growth doesn't need an audience, so next time someone asks why you're so quiet or hard to reach, just smile. Because while they're chasing attention, you're chasing alignment. You're not avoiding the world, you're mastering yourself. And when the time comes, your impact will speak louder than any spotlight ever could. Number 3, your intuition is a divine compass. Ever walked into a room and immediately felt the energy shift? Maybe it was subtle, a chill in the air, a sudden tension, or a strange calm. That's not just your imagination, that's intuition. And for Sigma males, it's a powerful gift. Unlike most people who rely solely on logic and fact, Sigma males operate on an entirely different wavelength. They're tuned into emotional frequencies, subtle energies, and silent cues that others miss. This is more than just being observant. It's almost like having a sixth sense, a form of spiritual intelligence. Studies in neuroscience have shown that intuition is real. The brain processes information in 2 main ways, analytically and intuitively. While most people lean on analysis, Sigmas trust the intuitive